Pre-dawn, March 18, 1871. The French government, led by Adolphe Thiers, sends troops up the steep heights of Montmartre to seize hundreds of cannons paid for by the Parisian working class. When the order is given to fire on the gathering crowd of locals, the soldiers lower their rifles. They refuse. Within hours, the troops are fraternizing with the very workers they were sent to disarm. Terrified by the mutiny, Thiers and his entire government abandon the capital and flee to Versailles. They leave behind a massive, sudden power vacuum. By nightfall, the red flag is hoisted over the Hôtel de Ville. The Central Committee of the National Guard, a hastily assembled council of armed workers, wakes up to find they are the undisputed masters of Paris. The old bourgeois state has completely collapsed and evacuated. The question now is what kind of political machinery the working class will invent to govern themselves. On March 26th, elections are held by universal male suffrage across the working class districts. The resulting body, the Paris Commune, is overwhelmingly composed of workers and their acknowledged representatives. Their first major decree abolishes the professional standing army. Conscription is ended, and the military is replaced entirely by the armed citizenry, the National Guard. The police force is immediately stripped of its political attributes. Instead of acting as an occupying force in the poorest neighborhoods, officers are turned into strictly accountable public servants. Accountability is woven into every level of society. Every administrative, judicial, and educational post is filled by public election. Crucially, any official can be immediately recalled and removed by their electors at any time. This chart illustrates the Commune's economic equalizer. They abolish all high dignities and representation allowances, capping the maximum salary for any state official at 6,000 francs, the exact average wage of a skilled worker. That leveling of hierarchy extends to the structure of the state itself. Instead of a parliament that merely debates, the Commune merges the legislative and executive branches into a single, unified working body that actively administers the laws it passes. Immediate social measures follow. Church and state are separated. Night work for bakers is abolished, and arbitrary workplace fines, essentially legalized wage theft, are outlawed. The Commune ignores national borders, elevating a German worker to Minister of Labor and placing Polish generals at the head of the city's defense. The physical symbols of bourgeois authority are dismantled. The guillotine is dragged into the street and publicly burned, while imperial monuments like the Vendôme column are toppled. But out of a lingering respect for bourgeois legality, they make severe tactical errors. They refuse to seize the gold reserves in the Bank of France, and they fail to march on Versailles to crush Thiers' retreating forces while they are still weak. The structures built during these 72 days form a specific, practical prototype. This is a new type of state, designed exclusively for proletarian rule. On May 21st, the Versailles army, now reorganized and heavily reinforced, enters Paris through an undefended gate. What follows is a one-sided slaughter. The military sweeps eastward through the city. Executions require no trial. Parisians are shot simply for having calloused hands, wearing ragged clothing, or carrying common lamp oil. Within a single week, firing squads and machine guns work around the clock, summarily executing an estimated 20,000 to 30,000 Parisians. Another 40,000 survivors are arrested, marched out of the city, and deported to distant penal colonies. Addressing the National Assembly on May 24, Adolphe Thiers boasts to the ruling class, "I shed torrents of blood." The ruling class saw the worker state as an existential threat. They viewed the uprising as a contagion that required total extermination rather than a tactical military victory. Just days after the final barricades fall, Karl Marx delivers his analysis of the uprising. Marx's primary breakthrough was the realization that the working class cannot take hold of the ready-made state machine and use it for their own purposes. They must smash it. 20 years later, Friedrich Engels clarifies exactly what this new structure represents. The democratic rule of the armed working class over their former exploiters is the exact definition of the dictatorship of the proletariat. Vladimir Lenin revives this specific theoretical framework decades later, using the exact model of the Commune to shape the Soviets during the 1917 Russian Revolution. Leon Trotsky later examines the ashes of the Commune to understand its military and organizational collapse. This animation shows the structural disparity. Trotsky concludes the Commune was geographically isolated and lacked a centralized vanguard revolutionary party. the exact mechanism required to organize the masses and decisively crush a unified counterrevolution. The strategic failures of 1871 became the primary study for the Bolshevik leadership. When the Russian working class took power in 1917, they avoided the Commune's hesitation, acting on the blueprint extracted from the Parisian ashes. The Paris Commune lasted only 72 days, but it successfully answers the historical question of what political form must replace capitalist rule. Every major working-class uprising that follows, from the councils in Germany in 1918 to the factory committees in Spain in 1936, spontaneously rediscovers and implements this exact same structural form. Today, the Communards' Wall at the Père Lachaise Cemetery stands as a physical testament to the thousands who were executed against it. The 1871 experiment established the political form for working-class rule. It remains a living model, the structural basis for the workers' councils that would emerge in every major revolutionary movement of the 20th century.